The national tour of Pretty Woman, the musical, is coming to Hammons Hall April 23rd through 25th. Joining us now is one of the cast members of the production, Adam Duplessis. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
First of all, thank you so much. We're so excited about the musical, the national tour. I'm curious, though, so many people are familiar with the iconic movie. So can you tell us about the stage production, the adaptation, and how maybe it's similar or different, or what audience can expect when they see the show?
Well, the stage production is very, very similar to the original movie, to an extent that they even have some of the same dialogue. What they've done is that they've added some elements to help it transition to the stage. My character is kind of one of those things. Obviously, there's the song and dance element, which just heightens everything. But anybody who's familiar with the movie will get such a strong sense of nostalgia and remembrance of these wonderful, wonderful characters and this wonderful story.
Oh, and speaking of, we're talking about your character. Who do you play, and tell us a little bit more about that character.
Okay, so my character is named Happy Man, and if you remember the movie, in the first 10, 15 seconds of the movie, they were showing shots of the streets of Hollywood. And walking around Hollywood, there was one character who was walking around going, "Welcome to Hollywood, what's your dream?" He was in the movie for all of 5 to 10 seconds. And in the credits, he was listed as Happy Man. So when they decided to adapt the movie into a stage musical, they took that character and they developed him into this fairy godfather type character for the Cinderella story that is Pretty Woman.
Oh my, so they took a very minor character and turned him into something bigger for the production.
They did. And then what they ended up doing is that he pops up in different guises throughout and becomes one very, very recognizable character, and that is the manager of the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, played so fantastically well by Hector Elizondo in the movie, who guides and helps Vivian along on her journey.
Oh, wow. I love that the creativity of a Broadway show. I mean, of a musical. It's just amazing. It is amazing. And, tell us about the music. What, with the composers and how it is it more traditional Broadway type music? Is it more pop?
Well, it's so very, very interesting because they did something so clever. The movie came out in 1990. So obviously in pre-production and production when they were filming was just right at the end of the 80s. And when they decided to adapt it to a musical, they did the genius thing of bringing on board Bryan Adams, who, to all of us who were around in the 80s and 90s, is just such an icon of that rock era. And he came on board, along with Jim Vallance, to write the music of the show. So it has that 90s rock feel to it, while incorporating the style of musical theater as well. It's very different music, but different for Bryan Adams, but it still retains that rock flavor, that 90s rock flavor that he had.
I'm curious too, with the musical, you get that direct audience feedback every night when you're performing. Is there a certain song or certain moment that really gets the crowd energized?
Oh, honestly, there are so many. This is one of the shows that is, it's hard to not feed off the energy of the audience. The audience gets so engulfed in the show. There is a lot of comedy. There is a lot of empathy and beauty in this story, and the audience is with us for the whole journey. And the interesting thing is that because the audience has such a wonderful energy, that feeds our energy, which just stacks on top of each other, and we end up having the most magical experience every single night.
That's one thing I miss about doing TV. I miss that live audience reaction, that real in-person connection that you have with the audience. And you were talking about the book, it's very similar to the movie. Gary Marshall was involved with the stage adaptation as well?
He was indeed, yes. And actually, quite interestingly, a couple of months his a widow came and actually saw the show and met us all afterwards. And she was so, so happy, so proud that his legacy is living on. And she said he would have been so happy and so moved by this, that it is carrying on and has a life outside of the movie, because people will now, especially younger people who haven't encountered the movie, will see the musical and go back and watch the movie, and then people who haven't seen it for years will then be reinvested in it. And she was so happy and so proud that his legacy is living on.
I'm curious too, as a performer, how long have you been doing this? It's a lot of people's dream to be on Broadway or do a national tour or be in musical theater. Has this been your whole life?
It has been my whole life. But the very first show I did was in my final year of school. I'd been singing since I was 6 years old, but the first actual real show, and that was Joseph, An Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And I went to university to study accounting, and I lasted all of one term before I was like, nope, this is not for me. And I moved on to music and then on to musical theater, and I haven't done anything since. I've done literally not a single thing to earn a paycheck except for performance since then.
You are very blessed, my friend. Very blessed.
I am. Thank you.
That's very exciting. Well, we're excited to see you and the whole cast. How big is the cast?
We are a cast of 24 people.
24 on the road, constantly going from city to city across the U.S.?
Yes.
That's got to be a very fun life.
It's very, very exciting. We have such a magical time going in and exploring all the different cities as well. This is actually going to be my third time in Springfield, Missouri, so I'm very excited to be back.
We are very excited to have you back and the entire cast. We cannot wait to see the musical. And don't forget, you can see this at Hammons Hall for the Performing Arts, April 23rd through 25th. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7:30. You can get tickets at hammondshall.com. Thank you so much for your time. We can't wait for you to get back in Springfield.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.